So it's been a while since we've done a Bible video, I feel like. And if you go back and you listen to all my other Bible ones, I always talk about how starting with James 1 and reading to the end is truly the best the Bible got to offer. And it's basically the story of the second coming of Jesus Christ. Or more like the prophecy. And obviously, if you know me, you know I believe that I am the second coming of Jesus Christ. And you know that I have a unique perspective that basically could only be defined as my own philosophy, my own church. And it definitely lines up better with the words of the Bible than any other church on this planet. That's for sure. And so we're going to go a little bit into it. And hopefully I say something that when people go back and listen, or if you're listening now, that moves you in a certain way where you understand that in order for the Bible to be true, and in order for all this to happen, and in order for you to have the agency to choose between Satan and God, it has to be done in such a unique way where it's obvious what is true and what is right, yet it is not as, I don't know what the word is, magical. Because obviously it would be magical. It's like a Disney movie, like super magical, but it's still not magical in the sense of instant healing, instant, like, Thanos snap, fucking infinity stones, And so, what I'd like to start off with is having you think back to the days of Jesus Christ. Like, he was born into a society where if you said the wrong things against the church, if you said something blasphemous, if you got out of line, if you obeyed your rulers, if you disobeyed your rulers, like, there was many, many, many ways and many people being made examples of through punishment of death for doing things that they were, quote unquote, not allowed to do. And I mean, Jesus had his life threatened more than once before he was finally fucking killed. But the point is that Jesus was born in this society. He's a smart, like, honest, righteous human being. And without freaking walking on water, without freaking healing people from the dead and all these other things, his story is still 100% possible. Uniting people, sharing a message, explaining how society grows and how freedom and agency is what God really cares about. And so that through Jesus claiming to be the Son of God and living righteous and giving people hope that, like, there is something to live for beyond the materials of this world, beyond the satisfactions of this world. That his story could inspire a movement that would lead to something like the United States of America. And so obviously, I 100% believe that it is possible to find exaltation and wield the power of God on this earth. But I 100% believe that you don't have to be at that point to be a righteous person and to know good from evil and, like, I don't know. I'm sure you're starting to understand what I'm saying. But so let's think about this, though. So Jesus sees this. He starts preaching. He gets threats. He understands that the further he goes, the more likely he's going to die. And at some point, he came to the realization that he does have to die for this, because he did not live in the time where he could conquer. There was no story that can inspire the hearts of men if he tries to raise 100,000 people and go to war. And even if he wins that war, that doesn't inspire the hearts of men to believe in something greater than this mortal realm. It just would have guaranteed war was our damnation. Like we all, humanity ends in war type of thing. And so he leaves a different story. A story that can inspire people. But again, it inspires people to create America. And in America, where now we actually have the agency to choose how we live, I wouldn't say we have freedom to live how we want to live, because if you choose a certain lifestyle, the government will come and shut you down. If you choose to educate the public from the truths of the lies that the government be spreading in this world, they'll come and get you. Especially if you're effective. If poor people start making too much money, they'll come create regulations and laws to make it more difficult, so that less people are qualified and motivated and have the necessary starting resources to start such things. Like, did you know that you need $30 million to start a bank? If you want to go start like a local community bank, it costs $30 million to get your foot in the door. And then you got to have a good resume. So, again, here we are in America, ends of times. We know that, like, what's going on with Israel and all this stuff is not by accident. Plenty of stuff in Revelation to show that this is ends of times. And so, think about America. You're kind of free. You're free to basically choose what you want to do or don't do, and you're mostly free from abuse of being executed for saying the wrong things. Like, a king typically cannot just come kill you in America. And so in America, you have this different, like, if Jesus came here in America, right? Like, he wouldn't have done the same thing that he did 2,000 years ago. He'd probably be louder. He'd probably be angrier. He'd probably be, and in America, it's like, if Jesus was to come here, and unless he's wielding his magic, his power, no matter what he says, the government's just going to turn into a story of a man is crazy. No matter what he's done, he could have built businesses. He could have come out with $1 billion ideas that other people are making billions on. He could literally have so many things. And it's just, no, he crazy. He shows all the signs of all the other crazy people, so he must be no different than them. Oh, and what is the signs of a crazy person? Hating this world, blaming this world for their problems. Well, if Satan owns this world, maybe the crazy people were the people that were right. And maybe the people acting like this world's bad is not so bad, and everyone just needs to appreciate what they got, and that everyone just needs to do better, and like all that bullshit. Work a little harder, don't be poor, don't fucking like do better at school. Like everyone be blaming everyone. That's what it is right now. And it really is everyone's fault but mine. But I still get thrown in the basket with the crazies. The Bible is a prophecy of one man doing all the necessary works to not only find Jesus, but to also stand up to the devil and show the world the difference between light and dark. And it wasn't because it had to go this way. It was because literally you guys ignored him for so fucking long. And like the ones who did show up, I mean, we can argue that we showed up in AMC, we showed up in Mullen, and like you guys just always crumbled. You guys just always fell to the either you fell for the FUD, you cashed too early, you fucking whatever. There's 1,000 different things. At best, there's 10,000 good people out there that have listened to what I said and sacrificed everything with me and are in the same boat as me potentially. And they just ready for that next stage of life as I am. And if they out there, like, the fact is, they're going to get crowned like I am. In the Bible, like, as we start to read, we're going to see that. And so, again, I want you to think about it. In a place where if I was born 2,000 years ago when Jesus was born, obviously I would have been killed way before I had a chance to fucking prove like my resume and my goodwill and all this other bullshit. Where if Jesus was born in America, like he would have had way less fear to go out and preach and talk, because like that's like this America's, for as much as it is, like, it's hard to say that you don't have your freedom of speech. I mean, they'll find, like, the violent stuff and censor you and all this stuff, but, I mean, all that stuff that I've been censored for is not stuff that I needed to say. It's not stuff that was ultimately useful. It was more about my personal path and journey towards righteousness than it was about teaching you guys anything. I mean, maybe a little bit of it is about, like, once I go viral, my documentary. When it comes out, you're going to see all the anger, and some people are going to, like, know that there's no way a man gets the stage like I got the stage unless it's something to do with God. And they're going to go back and see all the things that I said. And some people are just going to be so afraid of the man that I am that they're going to choose righteousness out of fear. Downright fear of a man that could be like me and conquer and do it, and like in the end get everything he said he was going to get. That's a scary man. The government tried to stop him and they couldn't. FBI tried to stop him and they couldn't. Fortune 500s tried to stop him and they couldn't. It's a scary man. And so, again, I just think about like the opportunity we have here in America to speak, and how like nobody's looking for anyone claiming to be righteous. Like if somebody comes out and says, I'm more righteous than everybody and I want to lead you guys to be better people, everyone instantly goes to this guy's psychotic, like cult leader or whatever. Like they got thousands of things. And it's become, I mean, it's interesting because it's become justified by the churches. Like, and when I say that, what I mean is like the churches live so unrighteously, it makes 100% perfect sense why the average decent person in this world is anti-religious and hates religion, because religions have blasphemed God's name so badly. Like when it says don't take the Lord's name in vain, it is not saying don't say oh my God. That is not at all what it's saying. It's not saying don't, like when someone like says something ridiculous, you say Jesus Christ. Like that's not what it's saying. When it says don't take the Lord's name in vain, it's literally saying don't claim to be my follower, don't claim to be a leader, don't claim to be a shepherd of God's word and God's people unless you're truly living a righteous life, because there's nobody more evil than the people that are getting rich off God's name, off of poor people's backs. claiming that they're offering some type of salvation, and they offer damnation. Not a worthy church on this planet. If you taking money reading the Bible, damn, you in trouble, bro. You in trouble. If you a goddamn Mormon, you in trouble. You let the Jews come and literally take over the Mormon church and pervert everything that the founding prophets started it with. Joseph Smith, Joseph Smith, and Brigham Young. They clearly set a standard of how this church should operate, and clearly with the money we have and just hold on to and invest in the fucking stock market versus what they used to do with the money we saved back in the day is fucking psychotic. You all live like Jews. You all act like Jews. And we're going to read about it. And again, this is the prophecy that's coming, and James 1 goes into a lot of stuff, and it only gets better from here. And so, like, if you're listening to this before whatever is supposed to happen happens, like, maybe you still think I'm crazy, but if you know the Bible's true, because, like, I know a lot of people that say, I don't know much, but I believe in the Bible. Like, there's just no way that ain't the truth. There ain't no way Jesus Christ ain't the truth. And, like, they don't know much about the Bible. They only know the lies that they've been told from the churches that they grew up in. But everyone know the Bible the truth. So let's go find out, what does the truth actually say? And it says, James, a servant of God and of Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. So he's saying, when you fall into temptation, when you sin, when you fuck up, when you mess up, count it as joy, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. We were all sent here to sin. We're all sent here to learn how not to sin, but you cannot learn how not to sin without admitting your faults in sin, without, like, understanding that you are weaker than Satan. Knowing this and trying your faith worketh patience, like feeling the pain that the sin has caused in your life, and knowing that it's something you shouldn't have done, and like the going back and thinking about something that happened so long ago, but you still think about it and makes you feel like a piece of shit about it, because, like, that's just how we work. It's how the human brain operates. But let patience have her perfect work, and that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. And so, like, if you think about all the times you really wanted something in this world and you got it, like, it always was never enough. You always needed more. There was never one wish you had. And, like, we've all made a wish that we said, if we get this, we'll want nothing else. And we all got it. We've all made wishes that we've gotten. And yet, and yet it was never enough. We were frustrated. We were saddened. We were wanting more. Like, we took what we had and we just took advantage of it and acted like it was just supposed to come to us. Like, we didn't earn it. It wasn't a blessing. And we get tired of the blessings we receive. And so ultimately, when you go back and you look at your life, you'll realize that nothing is ever as good as you made it out in your head. That there is no amount of family, no amount of money, no amount of experience, no amount of travel, no amount of pleasure that ever satisfies your hunger, the thirst, or quenches your thirst. You always want more. And then you go back in your life and you think about all the things that you've gone through, all the things you did wrong, and realizing that you really didn't deserve 90% of what you got. Just the 10% of shit in your life is probably all that you actually deserved. And it brings you back to this point where it's like, before you can go out in the world with money, with resource, with knowledge, experience, and ability to sway the hearts of men, you need to realize everything in this world is garbage besides your brothers and sisters. And that if you have any desires in your heart, any cravings of lust of the manly world, before you get this wealth, exaltation, ability to act on your words, act on your faith, that if you are not already in a place of wanting nothing spiritually, physically, then you aren't going to be prepared for the moment at hand when you get the opportunity to prove what kind of man you are. Because everyone's going to get a chance to prove. God didn't come here to come conquer and just dominate and force with magic for everyone to kneel. God came to prove that there's a way that a man can live and bring better things to this world. And let every man choose for himself based on the faith and the words of the Bible, which prove I am everything I've always said I was. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. Like, it wouldn't be faith. Like these people, they come and they ask for miracles, and it wouldn't be faith if you're given what you were asked for. If you're given what you asked for, and instead, there is like you're not asking for. You're not asking for a mountain to move. You're not asking for an ocean to part. You're not asking for someone to walk on water. I mean, maybe some of you are asking to be healed. But what are you really asking? Like, I mean, if we really think about it, do you care about your body or do you care about your soul? Do you care about this life or do you care about the next life? Are you asking to be healed so that you can have the faith to believe in your Christ and Savior, so that you can have the necessary faith to make it to heaven? Is that what the blessing of the healing brings? Like, if you could be healed and you have no legs, but you could have your legs back, would you want that? Or would you want to know that your soul is saved in the next life? And are you asking for your paralyzed body to be able to walk so that you can walk and enjoy this world for all the garbage that it is? Or are you asking so that you can know that there's something greater in this world and like you can testify of it? You can be edification that there is something better on this planet. And so I'd argue that a lot of you guys are asking for things that aren't actually aligned with what you really want. And that you think that if you got these things, it would actually help solve another thing. But why don't you just skip to that and go straight to the thing that you're looking for? Why don't you just worry about your soul? Fuck this world. For let not the man that think he shall receive anything of the Lord. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. Like, you shouldn't be praying for blessing. You shouldn't be assuming that the money coming into your life, the trials coming into your life, the anything coming into your life is not from God. It is from Satan. Are there some blessings from God? Maybe. Does God nudge here and there? Maybe. But is the over defining aspect and direction of your life been orchestrated and planned by Satan? 100%. Is everyone worried about their own retirement, their own kids' safety, their own kids' future? 100%. But the Bible is against all of that. The Bible is against becoming wise in the ways of man. The Bible is against collecting money and hoarding it. And it says, let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. The brother of low degree. Does that sound like a rich man? Does that sound like a prophet at a church? No. But the rich in that he is made low, because as the flower of grass he shall pass away. So it says, let the brother of the low degree rejoice in that he is exalted, but the rich in that he is made low, because as the flower of grass he shall pass away. For the sun is no sooner risen with the burning heat, but it withereth the grass, and the flower thereof falleth, and the grace of the fashion of it perisheth. So also shall the rich man fade away in his ways. So just as the sun in the sky burns away the grass, kills the flowers, so shall the way of the rich man be destroyed by the Son of God. What is the ways of the rich man? The ways of the rich man is this business slave ownership bullshit that we lived through. Pay everyone just enough to survive, but never to save or retire. This fucking bullshit of college education, crony capitalism, nepotism, fucking boats and hoes, jets. Fucking how many women does a rich man got? Too many. How many should they have? 0. But these hoes be tripping. But it's funny. It's just because the good men won't take them, so they go to the bad men. But at the end of the day, every woman I ever wanted always came to me because I was a good and righteous man. Unfortunately, just Satan was stronger than what I was in this world as a young adult. And so I was never able to keep them or be a man strong enough to hold on to them. But they all wanted what I got. They all wanted what I had to offer. As all the fucking dirtbags around him tried to seduce him, I was the only one that treated him like a person. And they all wanted it. And we tried to make it work, but like I said, this world, stronger than I was is trying to be someone holding someone else up. Not stronger than me individually, like I was strong enough to survive this world, but not strong enough to survive with someone. I had to lose every relationship I ever had, family, friend, or foe. I don't know anyone. I don't talk to anyone. I just am alone always. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Do not err, my beloved brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. So we'll get to the part where it talks about, it says Jesus Christ is the Father. And we'll also get to the part where it says that God comes back down and through Jesus Christ's Spirit is exalted. And so before his exaltation, he is man. And as all other men, he is lost in sin, dead in sin. And we'll get to the parts where it talks about God overcoming death through Jesus Christ for the Son of for freaking all of you, the brothers and sisters. And that there is nothing in this world that can convince a man to live a better life, convince a woman to live an honest life, a holy life, than another man doing it. And because I know this, because I lived a righteous life, I lived the way I was expected to live. I lived above my peers around me. And everyone shunned me for it. And I lost my friends early on in high school for it. And I was judged and like treated like a nerd. But like nobody would bully me or try to do anything. Because every time someone did, I would just like try to fight. And ain't nobody wanted to fight me. They all wanted to fight me when I could get like suspended, and I like never wanted to fight to get suspended. But whenever it was fucking behind closed doors in a backyard, whatever, they always punked down like little bitches. Every fucking goddamn time. I was just different, people. I was much different. But obviously, if I would have been fighting like all the other kids and also had such brilliance of mind, they would have been putting me on all the drugs and trying to fucking get me to commit suicide. Fighting's like the only, like, so crazy. 50 years ago, fighting was so allowed and it was open, and like you had to fight. Like, if you're born in this world, you had to fight 50, 60, 70 years ago. And now it's like, if you fight, you go to jail, you go to the mental hospital. Like, it's just not allowed. Even if somebody deserves it, they can do anything. They could steal from you, they could mess with your wife, they could do all the, like, mess with your daughter, they could do all these different things. They can cheat the stock market, they can steal your wealth, they can lie and call you Nazis and all this other stuff. And even if they're committing treason against you and they know it, and in behind the closed doors they're laughing with their friends about it, and they'll bring you in and laugh at your face and say how they're fucking stabbing you behind the back, but you can't do nothing. You can't call the cops because you ain't got evidence. Like, that kind of shit goes on in this world so fucking much. It's crazy. It's a bad world. And there ain't no way to be any part about it. You can't have friends, you can't have girlfriends, you can't have anything, because, like, everything about this world is wrong until Satan has been exposed, until there's a light in this world. And unfortunately, that's the prophecy. Unfortunately. But the good news is that it does end, and that the Father is constant. And so again, if you don't know, I believe that I am the Spirit of God. The Bible speaks of how the first Adam and the second Adam, and Adam is God. Like it says, God blew his spirit into Adam. And so Adam is God. He comes and lives for 1,000 years, showing his people how to live, trying to save mankind and teach them how to become godly beings. And unfortunately, Satan is too powerful and men are too weak and your spirits are too weak that Satan's able to conquer you every time. conquer you and make you as evil as Satan himself. And so what does God do? He fucking floods the earth. Like the same people alive today are the same people that got flooded back in the day. Guaranteed, no doubt. This is Old Testament, same people alive in the Old Testament or same people alive in the New Testament. A second chance. A new beginning. Because every time we tried in the old ways, Satan always won. We save a man here, save a man here, but overall we have to destroy cities, flood planets, because there's just too much evil. And there is no path to saving it. And so after a couple trial and errors, God says, I guess we got to do this another way. And he sends Jesus. And Jesus did not come to conquer. Jesus came to sacrifice and create a promise. Through his sacrifice, there is a promise that somebody can come to this earth and live a righteous life and find the path to Jesus and shatter the vessel of their natural born spirit and let Jesus into their heart. And through Jesus' spirit, destroy the devil on this earth. And that became the new prophecy. The New Testament is that a man can find Jesus and cast Satan to hell. And that Jesus' sacrifice and death at the hands of Satan created this promise. Before that, you had to live perfect. There was an Old Testament law, and you had to live by that law in order to have a chance to save your soul. And unfortunately, there was less than probably a dozen souls saved. And so, there came the New Testament. But the prophecy of the New Testament was that, just like in the Old Testament, no man was righteous enough. No man was worthy enough. They all chose Satan. They all hated God. Well, the prophecy of the New Testament is that they will all hate, and that God himself will have to come by himself, expose the devil, and destroy all men who cease to follow the devil after God makes it clear, point blank, and obvious who he is, why he's here, what's the purpose of life, and most importantly, like I said, there's nothing in this world that can convince you to be a better person except for somebody you like, who you believe is a better person. The idea that somebody on this planet is working for you, living for you, so you can have a better life, so you can have more agency, so you don't have to struggle against the devil. Some of you guys like to struggle because, like, if you get money, you just join the devil. And so you consider, like you take the Jewish words and you assume that is the devil, and or like you take the Jewish words of, like, there really is no devil, and that any blessing in this world that comes to you is a blessing from God, and that God is blessing you so that you can utilize these resources to gain more resources and power and influence and all this other bullshit, so that you can control man, and God has blessed you with your ability to control and all this other bullshit. No. That is the devil. God is a man, and he is coming to fuck you up. And if you do not kneel and call him God and learn to love your fucking neighbor and set your neighbor's needs above your own wants, then you will die. You will be turned into dust, and I will walk over your ashes and I will spit on them. Every good gift, every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Of his own will begat he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. So again, listen to that. Of his own will begat he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Well, moan's about the fucking Moas, and of the 1 million people that make a fucking fortune off of it, I expect about 10,000 of them to be the first fruits, and they're all my creatures. Everything on this world is just a variation of me. I created all things, including Lucifer himself. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, for the wrath of man worketh not righteousness of God. I am sent here with a tongue that is like a double-sided blade. You are sent here to submit to me and allow me to handle the vengeance and retribution. It is your job to honor Jesus' sacrifice, because at the end of the day, God wanted to destroy the world. And after he flooded the world, there came the argument of, promise you'll never do this to mankind again. Like, God really didn't seem to care, did he? Like, he knows it's better that all men should perish before evil shall find eternal life. And that evil can only exist permanently in hell and temporarily on earth, as an example, but can never exist in the eternal life paradise. And so again, I have a job. And if you aren't me, then you're literally everyone else. And your job is to submit. Swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. And so, one last thing I'll say about this part is, you cannot expect your wives to submit to you, honor you as a man, be loyal to you, respect you, as nature intended, if you don't submit to me as nature intended. Go look at the hierarchy of the animal kingdom. There's only one way. Man is ruled by the person of their choosing. Society is ruled by the king of kings. That's the way it's got to be. It is the way of man. And as long as it's the true king of kings, then finally this world can be blessed. And we can learn to live in righteous ways. Again, remember 10 verses before this, the ways of the rich people going away. There's a new way coming. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive the meekness and engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. But that is just the point. There's nothing in this world that can save your souls and convince you to truly live to a higher standard than you're living now, even if you already think you're living to a high standard. There's nothing that can make you take it to the next level. Because, like, if you're living at a high standard, you look around and you say, oh, well, I'm already doing better than everyone else. And if you're already living bad, then you just justify it and say, oh, well, I know some worse people worse than me. And everyone just justifying everything because everyone looked around this world and they saw everyone was lying about something. And that truly nobody is really that respectable on this earth. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? It's just because you didn't fucking find me. I am actually respectable on this earth. And once I fucking dominate this earth, which it's coming, there are going to be so many goddamn people that look at my story, look at my life, look at my sacrifices, and know that I came here for a reason, that I have a purpose. And they are going to feel something in their heart that enables them to become a better person than they were. It's the only way to save a soul, is to be the example that inspires them and makes them believe that if someone else can do it, they can do it too. But the problem is, when you look around this world, there's no one living righteously. So it becomes very, very fucking hard to believe you can live righteously. But you guys will see, I was here the whole time. I was different the whole time. Ain't no one like me. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, the perfect law of liberty. So we know the perfect law. We know this law is perfect that he's referencing. And it is the law of what? Liberty. Liberty is the right to choose. The right to look, have faith, and make the proper choice in righteousness. But it has to be a choice. It can't be obvious black and white. It can't be obvious, like it can't be 100% you know in your heart that this guy is God because he's healing the dead or raising the dead or whatever. And now you got to choose between him or Satan, and it's just an obvious choice. No, it's a if you hear about Jesus, someone says Jesus returned, you hear about it. Does that turn you off, or does that make you want to go look and see who this man is? And if it makes you want to go see who this man is, and you go and you look at the resume and you're like, wow, this is a unique resume. Wow, this person speaks differently. Wow, I've never really heard it said this way before. That makes me feel something different I've never felt before. If that is happening in your life, then that is where you're getting the choice of, wow, this feels different. I get to choose something new. How exciting. Liberty. But if it's like, oh, wow, this person is just moving mountains and shooting laser beams out of his eyeballs, like, I guess I gotta join him. It's join him or join Satan. So, like, yeah, like, that's not much of a choice. But if it's like, I'm here saying I'm Jesus, and everyone else saying, no, Jesus is fake, and the Muslims are right, no, the Jews are right, no, the Hindus are right, and it's like you got to sort out through everything and then make a choice. That sounds like liberty. And the deeper you look, the more obvious it should become, and that's where that's why we win. That's why the prophecy of the Bible, we start with 10,000 people, and then it turns into 100,000 people, and then it's half the world. And the other half decides to fucking choose Satan. If any man among you seems to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this: to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. And so, when I read about the widows and the children, the fatherless, like, it's speaking about the poor. It's speaking about, like, you go look at who is the highest jail population, the 1.2 million Americans in jail right now. Like, how many of them grew up fatherless? Probably 70%. And so I'm here for the poor. I'm here for the wounded. I'm here for the hated. Because you think the world hates you, but remember what the Bible says: the world hated me first. And after James 1, it continues to get good, and it's all about the end times, and you should keep reading all the way through Revelation, like all the way, like the day that I steal the world in a night, and the whole world's crying in pain because the world is hearing my name and hearing my story, and they're just like, oh no, like, how can this man get a platform? Oh no. Like, that's the day, people. I mean, maybe it's the Moas. Oh no, the stock market's ruined. Like, the retail won, and now, like, oh no, great resets upon us. Like, whatever it is that happens, and they're crying, like, that starts Revelation chapter 3, 4, 5. And it starts with that, and then it's the 7 seals being opened. And then it's the war, the 42-month war beginning. And then it's the blood and the plagues and the Antichrist and the mark of the beast. And after the 42-month war, it is then the 1,000-year millennium. And after the 1,000-year millennium, it is then Jesus coming from the sky to kill everyone who came to kill God. Because at the end times, like during the 1,000-year millennium, people will live with God and people will live righteously. But at the very end, the world will unite against them. Satan will be loosed for a moment, and Jesus will come from the clouds, burn everything to ashes, and Judgment Day begins. And it is because of Jesus that all of you have a chance, because truly, the way I read the Bible, it says God made this sacrifice for his son Jesus, not for everyone else. Jesus made a plan and said, God, do this for me, please. I love my brothers and sisters. I want to save them. This is the only way. And Jesus set up a plan where he could come and be a sacrifice so that in the end, when God does come back and win, that the 1,000-year millennium will be nothing but God wins all day long, every day. And so although I've hated my life and I pray for death on a regular basis, because I know that I have the resume and that everyone around me who's ever heard of me should already know who and what I am. And they don't, and there's no one like brave enough in their own stature to fucking do something about it and prove to me in a way that they know. And instead they all just wait for me to do it myself. And half of them actually hate me and think I'm crazy, and probably all of them hate me, and they just try to pretend that they're good people. Pretend that they're taking care of me when they try to put me in a mental institution. But yeah, it's about to happen. The show's definitely kicking off, and we're here, and so it's not like you could help me at this point anyways. Like, the whole point of you guys waiting for me to do it myself is already here, so not so much asking you for help, more so judging you and letting you know that, like, you're guilty as ever, and I'm coming to fuck you all up. Like, if you're claiming to be one of my people, it'll be clear and obvious by the way you're living your life, by the way that you're using the rewards I gave you. And if you're not, then by the way that you're testifying in my good name. And if you're not doing those things, just know I'm coming for you. I'm going to take everything you got and then I'm going to slit your throat, bitch.